approach towards ensuring a peaceful coexistence in the society, a mutual coexistence among people in the society, a harmonious coexistence of people in the society. So talk of a conflict-free society can only be achieved where there is durable peace, there is sustainable peace, and there is generally harmonious coexistence. So you cannot have a society, a developing society, or a society that is poised towards development without having peace. And you cannot have a society that is characterized by growth and development generally in the absence of peace. The security of life and people is not guaranteed in the absence of peace. So when we talk about peace building, whether it is at the community level, whether it is at urban level, or at what level at all, we're talking about approaches, strategies that will lead to that communal living, that harmonious coexistence, that peaceful living among people generally. So that is what peace building is all about. In essence, what can we do as a people? What can we do as communities? What can we do as a people to foster the peaceful, the mutual, and the harmonious coexistence among us? So that's generally what peace building is all about.
Okay, so where does the role of youth in peace building in our communities come in here?
Good. So if you look at the global population, like they said, if you look at what the UN demographic report is saying, of the over 7 billion population we have in the world, we have youth occupying almost 35% of the global population. And if you come back to Nigeria, you have a population, we're talking of a population of over 200 million people. And if you look at the breakdown of this population across among this 200 million, you discover that youth occupies a larger percentage of this population. Now, the question you ask is, what role can they play? Of course, youth can play an active role as far as peace building is concerned, because if we talk of political unrestiveness, we talk of certain criminal acts in the society like cultism and all of that, you find this among the youthful population, you know. So their role in terms of making sure that yes, there is no breakdown of law and order cannot be overemphasized here. Is it in terms of ensuring security of lives and property at the community level? Is it in terms of carrying out sensitization and advocacy on the need for peaceful coexistence among the youth in the society? Is it in terms of ensuring the safeguard of properties within the communities and all of that? So in all of this, the youth can play a role, and if they choose not to play that role, of course we'll see the effects of it generally, you know. So the role of the youth, we can talk on and on and on and on, but they stand in the middle point. They stand in the middle point where if they tilt their scale in favor of conflict, it will be disastrous. But if they tilt their scale in the favor of peaceful coexistence, we'll see a lot of development. So in terms of, we cannot talk about developing, the skills, the tech skills in carrying out sensitization, strengthening advocacy like I earlier mentioned, and promoting peace through community engagement, and also fostering what we call early warning signals in the community, because all of this, the youth are at the center of it, because those early warning signals, the youth, before anything happens, the youth are aware, because they form clusters, they have groups, they have community association, age grades, they move in within the community, that even at the urban level. So in all of this, the youth plays a significant role in terms of helping to notify state actors of early warning signals and all of that, like I mentioned.
Okay. Like you mentioned, the issue of early warning as a response.
Yes.
In your speech, you highlighted cultism as some issues. What are those other issues that constitute a breach of peace that youth needs to be aware of and avoid them?
Yeah, a lot of them. We talk of political thuggery is one of them. And we mentioned cultism. We mentioned youth unrestiveness. We talk of now we have kidnapping, we have other criminal activities like armed robbery and all of that, and political disturbances. These are issues that the youth really need to shun, to give way for a peaceful coexistence. And in all of this, the youth cannot stand alone and do all these things we've mentioned. They also need a support system to be able to come out of this situation. A society that does not provide for her youth, a society that does not encourage innovation, a society that does not encourage, promote upskilling of youth, would definitely be prone into some of these criminal activities that we have today: kidnapping, banditry, political thuggery, cultism, and a host of other criminal activities that we have in our society today.
Okay. It is alleged that there are some times the people who are behind certain youth that indulge in such acts.
Yes.
What word of counsel with regards to embracing peace building would you have for such persons?
So how will you feel? How will you feel as a leader? You have your own son schooling in Canada, or schooling in any of the European country, or is in America, or is even working in a very reputable organizations like NNPC and Central Bank and all of that, and you now pick up another person's son or daughter, and instead of seeing through that person's that youth mind to say that what skill, what talent is deposited in this person, and how do I support, rather you prefer to use such a youth to manifest your own selfish agenda. It's very, very wrong. And I think we have come to that point where we need to be very honest when we talk about youth empowerment. And youth empowerment, in my own opinion, is beyond buying telephones for youth and asking them to go to social media and trade wars with people. It's absolutely not it, because if we must have a peaceful society, then we as stakeholders in the society, corporate organizations in the society, institutions of learning in the society, civil organizations, civil society organization in our society, and above all, government as the driver in the driving seat of all of this process, must be deliberate in approaches, in policies, and strategies towards a youthful engagement that is directed towards effective peace building by a way of honest empowerment, skills empowerment, educational empowerment, information and access to opportunities, empowerment, and all of that. That is the only way that we can achieve this peaceful society. But a society that does not encourage the youth, that does not have any strategic roadmap towards overcoming the challenges in the labor market as it affects the youths, and at the end of the day, you use them as political hallelujah boys, as well as political thuggery and all of that, is absolutely not correct. And I think that is where most of the stakeholders need to wake up. They need to wake up on that. So that is on one aspect. Then the government has to be very honest towards policy engagement or towards policy framework. We've been talking about the National Youth Action Plan, which will expire by this year. And up to today, Benue State, for instance, has not really keyed into that National Youth Action Plan. So where do we go from here? How do we engage our youth through a strategic policy that will be geared towards sport development, that will be geared towards innovation development, that will be geared towards technology development, and all of that can push our youth towards a very effective and towards a very promising future in terms of giving them opportunity or opening them up to opportunities to the world. And I think this is where the government also needs to be deliberate. For over the years, we've been talking about a youth commission, and until maybe that comes to place. For now, there is no effective roadmap towards engaging the youth in under a platform, where they can have access. The youth knows that this is where to go. Yes, we have a Ministry of Youth and Sport, but here we are talking about a commission that will be very strategic towards policy framework, towards implementation, and towards research and development that will affect the youth positively, as that will be their role, and that is it. Then corporate organizations, beyond just using youths as casual staffs in there. Most of the we have what we call the Content Act of 2010 that specify that any corporate organizations coming to do business in Nigeria, the employment formula should be 70-30. So where most Nigerians must be on the management board, they must also be Nigerians working in that organization, and not expatriates alone. But oftentimes these things are relegated, and the youth are left to be doing menial jobs and all of that. So beyond just buying motorcycles for youth and all of that, I think we can really sit down as a people and said, no, this youth restiveness, this conflict situation we are having, which population is actually responsible for this, and how do we deal with this? Who are the experts we can engage to assist us in doing this? And I think we can discuss on and on and on. But if we don't ask these pertinent questions, then we'll only be treating the symptoms. Okay.
You mentioned National Youth Action Plan.
Yes.
As well as the Benue Youth Development Commission.
Yes.
When these are put in place, to what extent would they facilitate peace building, especially getting the youth involved?
Good. So implementing that National Youth Action Plan and having a Youth Development Commission will open up the state to global opportunities in terms of helping the youth to access global opportunities, in terms of helping them to upskill, in terms of helping them to have access to the right information as regards their development and well-being. These are the opportunities we can get from this. Now, 3 days ago, I was on a training for arbitration in sport, and the section of the Nigerian Bar Association on business law have seen to that okay, there is need for us to begin to train our young lawyers in terms of understanding what sports development is and what are the opportunities therein for an upcoming lawyer. And I think that is what we need to as a state. If a medical doctor is just been inducted today, the question we should ask is, what information is it having? What opportunities to access information regarding innovation, regarding development, regarding new things in his field does he have? This is what the commission will do, and this is what implementing the National Action Plan will help to achieve. There are opportunities out there, but simply a lot of youth don't know, and when they don't know, their heart boils with what we call in law accumulated provocation. So at the slightest provocation, you see them sparking out. It's not that, sometimes it's not even in their willingness or in their character or in the characters of most youth to engage in all of that, but you see the reaction in a way and manner of accumulated provocation. It could be that there is an early warning signals, and the youth have been talking about it, but the community leaders often will not listen, or perhaps will not give them opportunities, and sometimes they know where the problem lies, but oftentimes when they say it or when they speak out, they are not listened to. Most of the time, the stakeholders who discuss youth empowerment or youth issues involving youth end up shaving the head of the youth behind them, because the opportunity to sit on the table with them is not really there. And that is why we find most of these youth restiveness and other security breaches we're experiencing in the States. But I bet you, let's put the card on the table and discuss issues of youth honestly, and put in place mechanisms that will strengthen youth development. And let us see. Look at what Governor Oti is doing in Abia State, where he has a strategic plan towards transforming Aba into an industrial state. The youth there have become engaged. So we need that kind of situation too here in Benue. And look at the population is rising every day. It's rising every day. 2006, we were talking about the population of Benue being around 5 million. Today, we should be talking about 8 million plus, if not 10 million. And the larger population, and how many higher institutions of learning do we have in Benue? We have over 3 polytechnic or 4 polytechnic. We have about 4 universities or so. We have colleges of education and other tertiary institutions. And every year, these tertiary institutions are convoking and graduating students and throwing them into the labor market. And there are no jobs. And the only job envisaged here in Benue is when you're involved in politics. It's not everybody that wants to participate or join politics. We can leave politics to the experts and build on our businesses, build on our innovations, if the opportunities are there. So it is about having an honest approach towards doing all of this. So that's the only way we can achieve development. And this is the area I see that if the Benue the National Youth Action Plan is fully implemented, and the Benue State Peace and Youth Development Commission, I know the process is ongoing, but if it comes to fruition, this will add value to the state, open the youth of the state to global opportunities in terms of access to information, research and development and all of that. And when it finally put in place, let the round peg be put in the round hole. So that's the opportunities I feel we can achieve from this.
Okay. By Gbagyo,
yes.
You are in the civil society space.
Yes.
You are a legal practitioner,
yes.
the secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Yes.
What roles can the civil society organization and professional bodies like the NBA
yes.
play towards engaging the youth
yes.
with regards to taking them on the right approaches to sustain peace in our communities?
Good. So, if there is that effective collaborative approach, the problem we have in Benue is isolation drive problem. By that I mean everybody wants to stand on her own or on his own. Nobody wants to see the opportunities in partnership. Nobody wants to see the opportunities in forming consortium. Nobody wants to see the opportunities in collaborating with another person. So we stand alone. And I have been saying this time without numbers. If the professional groups do not come together, we have ICANN, we have NSC, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, we have the architects, we have the builders, we have the accountants. Imagine if all of these people come together effectively. Then, of all the human resource of the state should not be lacking in terms of development, because we have more than enough. But oftentimes, we the lawyers want to stand alone. The engineers want to stand alone. The accountant wants to stand alone. Then you come to civil society organization. Unhealthy competition is what you see sometimes. They tell you we are collaborating, but in the real sense, the collaboration is not there. So until we begin to form that effective collaboration, effective partnership, effective consortium, anchored on healthy principles, geared towards development as against personal gains, that is when we can have an effective youth advocacy drive towards peace building.
At the moment, do we have any? Because why you are a youth yourself,
yes.
You are involved in all these organizations, yes. The MBA and the civil society, yes. Which you are an active player. Yes. Is there any sort
of course there is. Like for the Nigerian Bar Association, we have the youth wing. Let me call it that way.
Yes.
Called the Nigerian Bar Association Young Lawyers Forum. And I'm glad to be part of that forum because I've effectively worked with them. And very recently, the forum held a summit. And the theme of that summit was towards helping them to build a strong mentoring capacity, or through forming a strong mentor-mentee platform. And we've been on it. And at every point in time, we have been carrying out trainings. There are a whole lot of trainings the Nigerian Bar Association is doing for the Young Lawyers Forum. Trainings on legal practice, ethics of the profession, innovations in the area of sports, alternative dispute resolution, and many more. Now, imagine if there is an effective collaboration. If the Nigerian Society of Engineers, for instance, are not looking at the lawyers with a suspicion eye, and we decide to come together, we can further deepen or perhaps widen the scope of knowledge to the Nigerian Society of Engineers as far as construction law is concerned. So there is that, if there is that effective collaborative approach, then we will achieve all of this. But within, you've asked me, within our own profession, we've been doing a whole lot for the youth.
Did you step down this engagement with youth in our rural communities across certain local governments, for instance?
Of course. I came from a community, and very recently, talking about community engagement, I've been interacting with youth in my community, and I always tell them, this is what you need to do. You need to shun violence. And I'm proud to say that the youth in my community have made a collective resolve as against banditry. And that is because for us to lead, we must lead by example. You must not say because you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, then it has become a yardstick to taking into violence. Not at all. But how many people are doing it? How many people are willing to pay that price? You know? And I'm glad to say that at least at the moment, there are some young lawyers who look up to me. And I know that I always owe them a duty not to disappoint them. Same at the community level. And some people have, after programs, have reached out to me to say, well, I like your analysis, and I want to be like you. That's another form of mentorship, because the capacity to advocate is something some youths just need to learn, or we just need to teach them. But, Mr. Nat, in all of this, there is one thing we must know. Whatever we are doing, we should just be honest about it. That's all. If we are honest about it, if the government is honest when it comes to youth empowerment, and just like African China said, if you're a governor, govern it well. If you're a senator, senate it well. If you're a policeman, police well, and don't take bribe. You know, so these are some of the things. But in all of this, we cannot do it standing in isolation. We can only do it if we are coming together, or we have come together as groups, civil society, in partnership, in collaboration, or in consortium to achieve this goal. It could be the goal of youth advocacy against violence. It could be youth advocacy towards peace building. It could be youth advocacy towards community engagement or community development. You know, if we put our hands on the deck, honestly, we can achieve it, rather than throw blame games against the youth.
It's okay. Dear listener, in case you are just joining us, you've been listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio, 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. We are discussing the role of youth in peace building in our communities. And leading us in the discussion here in the studio is the Secretary, Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Makurdi Branch, and a civil society, a person, Barrister Joseph Gbagyo, is our guest on the program. You too can participate by sending us a message to contribute or ask questions if you have them. The number for that messages and WhatsApp contribution is 09126 999 404. 09126 999 404. That line is already available for text messages and WhatsApp chats, which if you are sending a contribution or a question as a text or WhatsApp, please remember to include your name and the location you are sending it from. And at 10 o'clock, we will avail you the telephone lines so you can phone in to make contribution on the subject matter we are discussing. Let us also remind you, you may follow us on our social media platforms for the live stream of this program and all the contents on this platform. The platforms are available on Agate Radio and Television. Is on Facebook, also on YouTube and Instagram. You may follow us on all these platforms. You may also listen to us on our website www.agateradiotv.com. We are there to serve you. By Gbagyo.
Yes.
Let me come back to you. Let's look at the factors that impede peace building in our communities. Are there some that you would like to point out?
There are a lot of factors, a whole lot of factors. And those factors are, let me say, are all human-made factors. Because, and all of them, all the factors, stem from sometimes from our dishonest engagement. Go to our communities, talk of land disputes. It's just because somebody has refused to be honest to his neighbor and accept that, yes, his boundary starts and ends here. He wants to encroach. He wants to take by force. And what does he do? He goes to recruit some idle youth, not his own children, and sometimes his own children. Instill in them or instigate them to go and attack another community or attack that family. Before you know, conflict has broke out. When conveniently they can sit and dialogue, just dialogue, or perhaps just compromise with each other on certain areas. That's all. So, struggle over natural resources, which are not man-made but God-given, are some of the causes, one of the major causes. Go to some of our communities, struggle over fish pond, when in the real sense, if you look at the oral history of that community, the history of their forefathers shows that there was mutual coexistence between their fathers before they were born, and they were all fishing and eating from that fish pond. Somebody now wakes up one day and said he wants to have absolute control over that fish pond. What do you call that? Manifestation of greed. When in the real sense, to encourage durable peace, they can conveniently sit together as families, as community, and dialogue. But the absence of effective dialogue now leads to breakdown of law and order. That is one. Now come to urban area. Every year, like I mentioned earlier, we have well over 10 to 12 to 15 tertiary institutions now in Benue. And every year these institutions are churning out graduates in their large numbers. So, high rate of unemployment.
Yes.
And because of this high rate of unemployment now, which is as a result of industries, absence of opportunities or scholarship opportunities for higher learning and all of that, oftentimes made this youth to resort to what? conflicts, lead them to what? Other forms of criminalities, which in turn will blame them, when in the real sense there are no opportunities. But look at what the law said. The fundamental, objective and direct principles of state policies as contained in chapter 2 of our constitution. And if you look at section 16 under that chapter 2, it said the government will do what? Harness all the resources we have. Because if you look at section 44, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, said all mineral resources, whether on water or on land, belongs to the government. But the government will take these mineral resources, process them, and in turn give us social amenities, give us good education, make everything comfortable for us. But the absence of these social amenities, the absence of the social securities, in terms of jobs, leads down to what? Breakdown of peace. As a result of what? Conflict, kidnapping, hostage taking, armed robbery, banditry, terrorism that we are seeing in our society today. Unemployment. And it's as a result of what? The dishonesty, sometime on the part of what? Those who have elected, the government. And sometime, not the dishonesty of the government per se, but also the dishonesty of those that government felt should be trusted with appointment. So you can see how the whole thing is intertwined. All hinge on what? Lack of honesty in our dealings. That is leading to all of this. Then you talk of something, lack of willpower. Early warning signals. There is going to be conflict in community A, Y, Z or X, Y, Z. Yet somebody decide to lean back. You know? And because of politics, oftentimes people have decided to allow certain things to pass by just because they know they will benefit from those conflicts. Talk of conflict, those who benefit from conflict merchants. You know? So these are some of the causes. We can go on and on and on and on. But are we going to shy away from the fact that people are not struggling over natural resources when they are not supposed to struggle over it? And sometimes you say certain things. We're talking of climate change. These are some of the things that are affecting our communities. And how to effectively step in, raise awareness, is not there. So the people play into the hands of ignorance to struggle over these natural resources, break down the law. And before you know, then sometime, because some people want to exert dominance and have control over others and dispossess some people of their own God-given natural resources, go about to recruit other people because there is unemployment and lack of willpower towards solving that unemployment issues. So the causes are just so enormous.
All right. Let's look at another aspect of this. For instance, there is the Benue State Peace and Reconciliation Commission.
Yes.
In what ways would you suggest that this commission goes down to our grassroots to engage our youth on the need for peace building in the community?
Sometimes I don't like talking about the Benue State Peace Commission for certain reasons. Because I remember, I can confidently say, I'm also part of the people who advocated for the establishment of the Peace Commission. And I remember with clarity when we were implementing the project on transforming farmer-herders relation and promoting freedom of religious tolerance from 2018 to 2020. It was a 2 years project. And on this project, we have Nasarawa was on the project, Benue was on the project, and Taraba for another, but Benue and Nasarawa states on this project, the Benue, Nasarawa, and Plateau, these 3 states within the North Central axis. And we're having regional meetings. And at the close out of that project, we proposed in a communique that Benue, like Kaduna State, like Adamawa State, is due for a peace commission. And we advocated that. And the United Nations Development Program took it up. ECOWAS took it up to sponsor this. And we have the Peace Commission today. When the Peace Commission was finally established, I was also part of the delegation that traveled to Plateau with the support of USAID on a learning visit as to why the the Plateau State Peace Commission has been working effectively. And at the end of that learning visit, we came up with a communique signed by the representatives of the government, the State House of Assembly then, and the leader of the delegation of the civil society organization, where we said for Benue Peace Commission to effectively function and run effectively, then the pioneer DG Director General should be a seasoned peace practitioner, a seasoned peace building practitioner with vast knowledge and must be non-partisan. Whether that is done or not, I will not say. So, for the Peace Commission to work, those who are there knows the right thing to do. They know the right people to work with. They know the right people to call. They know the right expertise to involve. But like I said, we have a culture in Benue, culture of isolation practice. So even if Mr. A is good at what he does or what he is doing, skip him aside because his principles will affect our interests. But whose interest should we be talking about? The interest of the entire state.
Very well. So
I'm just coming. So the Peace Commission have a whole lot of work to do because we're talking of 23 local governments. We're talking about how many communities. So there's a whole lot. So but I leave it at that.
Very well. The Peace Commission, as we know, also operates with civil society organizations, which you are an active player in this space. Are you suggesting that the culture of isolation has applied, as if I should use your words?
Well, if the culture of isolation is applying, as far as the Peace Commission is concerned, what I am saying is very simple. There is a process leading to something, okay? And whether or not that process, the roadmap to that process has been deviated from. So ask yourself, maybe you should interview the Peace Commission to see why is their activities are quiet. Maybe they will have credible answers. But I still maintain my ground that until, don't forget, let's not miss the point, until we have this effective collaborative approach, effective partnership approach, effective consortium approach towards achieving a common goal. And what is the common goal? The soul of Benue. It should be about Benue. It shouldn't be about Joseph. It shouldn't be about Nat, but it should be about the state. So, I don't work with the Peace Commission. I'm only giving you an insight into what the Peace Commission is and what it should be doing. We expect them to be more engaging
with the youth
with the youth
at the community level as a way of strengthening.
Yes,
that is where you came in as a civil society.
Yes, because there is the aspect of community awareness, sensitization, educating people on peace practices and peace building approaches. So if they are not doing that, then I will challenge them to wake up to that. They should be seen to be doing more. And if there is no budgetary allocation, then the government should also allocate budgetary provisions to the Peace Commission to do all of this. So if there is no peace, there is no budgetary provisions, like I said, then there should be. The Peace Commission should be able to speak out that yes, our tax is enormous because this is what we are doing. And this is what we need to do. We need to collaborate with this organization. We need to collaborate with this organization to achieve these set goals. They should be able to bring out their strategic plan for implementation before people to see that this is what they intend to do. But it's a veritable platform towards engaging the youth for peace building.
All right. Barrister Gbagyo, recently,
yes,
we read in the news,
yes,
an alleged attack on a community somewhere in Boko where a house was raised.
Yes.
Government officials have come out with statements beginning from the governor's technical advisor on media, strategic communication and publicity. Yes. We have also seen statements from the Speaker of the State Assembly and certain individuals all condemning this act. What does this speak to our conscience if the youth should also be involved in initiatives of peace building? Does it in any way speak to the conscience of the youth in communities on what is expected of them?
Sometimes I don't like trading blame games. You understand? These issues have been happening over and over. And like I said, there's something we call accumulated provocation. Before this incident occurred, what has been the early warning signals to it? What has been the agitations? And were the people concerned engaging with the people who are agitated? These are the issues. And because that story, to my mind, I have not properly investigated it, I wouldn't want to speak to it. So I can only speak to the extent that something will not just happen. There are signals leading to that. Sickness will not come on your body. Your body will begin to show you signs that something is about to happen to your body. And if you don't respond to those signs, the sickness will break you down. So when we have these early warning signals, the question is, my brother, how do we react to it? Or are we waiting until something happens before we begin to organize large press conferences? Why are we a reactive people rather than being a proactive people? Why are we so comfortable with blaming rather than taking steps to avoid those incidences occurring? These are questions that we need to answer. These are questions we need to answer. Okay, this thing has been happening. How well has the story been investigated? Or are we just comfortable using certain names just to gain political values to ourselves? And I don't subscribe to those kind of reactive issues. I believe in taking proactive steps. Are we saying that most of our youth are not idle? Are we saying most of our youth do not have access to credible information? Are we saying most of our youth are not having access to empowerment opportunities? We shouldn't shy away from this. or shy away from all of this. We should be honest enough to say that what is the problem? We should be willing to engage with the youth. We should be willing to go down to them and ask them, what is the problem? And you talk about speaking to the conscience of the youth. So if you must speak to somebody's conscience, then you must close your eyes and open your own mind to see your own wrong and admit it, and be honest enough to tell that person that, look, I'm also wrong in this direction. So how do we fix this problem? Let us not shy away from the fact that we need to, our youth need more and better orientation, better opportunities, and better information to come out of this situation. If not, we'll keep treating the symptoms. Now the press conferences have been organized. What next? What next? Is there any form of restitution? No. Is there any further step, corrective measures? No. So the people concerned should also answer these questions rather than trading blame games, or rather than being reactive.
It's about time for us to start engaging with those listening to us. And if in case you are just tuning in, you've been on to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. Our focus is on the role of youth in peace building in our communities. And leading us in the discussion is Barrister Joseph Gbagyo, a civil society person and the Secretary Nigerian Bar Association, Makurdi Branch. The number to call is 081-433-59292. 081-433-59292. Once you connect with us, tell us your name and where you are calling from. Then go ahead and make your submission. Keep it very brief so as to enable others also participate on the program. Hello, good morning.
Yes, this is Edambauka calling from high level.
Okay.
Now I greet you and Barrister.
Thank you.
Also,
Good morning, sir.
Edambauka, please, your radio is close to you.
Yes, I'm trying to do something about it.
Okay. Yes,
So,
let's hear you.
so I hope you're there.
Very well. We're with you.
Yes, you see, man, typically, is a violent animal. That is why man himself decided that he would have government. That is to say, I wasn't a political science student, but there was this man called Hobus also, and he wrote that life was short and brutish.
Thomas
And so
Hunt.
they decided that they will create an institution that will take charge.
Yes.
So that no man, not just because of your strength, you do as you wish, that there will be laws and so on and so on. But today, government worldwide has become just, in fact, the other day I was calling it a monster, sucking the blood of the people they are supposed to be looking after. Because if you go to most societies in both America, everywhere, government has become so expensive. The government officials are the ones, everything goes to them. Is it the cars? Is it the aircraft? Is it the yacht? Is it their conferences? How many hotels they are in? By the time you calculate all the money that is spent on government officials worldwide, the rest of the people who they are supposed to be looking after are left in isolation. They become, it becomes a jungle for them to live as they wish, back to square one. So government worldwide needs to wake up. It's not just a Benue matter. It is a worldwide phenomenon. Look at Cain and Abel in the scriptures. It was as if man was reporting himself. This is what happened at the beginning. This one gave offering. This one said, why should you give offering? God was asking, if you do well, will you not be accepted? He killed him and refused to even answer God. He said, am I my brother's keeper? Did you make me negate? So this is man for you. So governments have to return to the issue of looking after the people more. In Africa here, the first day somebody becomes a politician, wins election, he's calculating the next election. Okay. And apart from the next election, he's calculating how much wealth he can gather, both for just keeping and then for building new mansions, buying super,
Okay.
When will you have time to look after the people? Look at issues of even ordinary town planning. Like me, as I'm standing here, there's a big filling station in the front of me.
Thank you.
I wake up every morning, and who was there in Ministry of Lands and Survey that did that kind of job? At you date, they are doing the same thing. Then you talk about things like electricity. We have poles on top of our heads. Africa is growing. Nigeria is about 60 something.
Okay.
It's not changing. Every new layout, same thing. And you go, the planning is not done. The children are living in.
Thank you.
If somebody commits a crime, you can just dodge quickly and go. But if you have beautiful cities that you can see long streets, and then the security agencies are doing their job.
Thank
the
you,
lawyers are go.
Thank you
so that when you have a challenge, you can have quick service of. We want you to sell all your property. Please forgive me before you can get justice.
Okay.
Please, I give you my rest now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We were really expecting that after all of that, you would tie it with how the youth can play a role in peace building. In any case, we appreciate your submission, Naboka. Thank you for calling in. Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, the presenter.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning. Good morning, the guests in the studio.
Yeah, good morning.
At least I'm happy this morning. My heart with so much education.
Thank you.
This Comrade Dogara from North Bank.
Dogara who?
Dogara Soguni.
Thank you, Dogara Soguni. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead.
You're welcome. Yeah. Please, I want Nigerian youth and Benin youth in particular. Let them be aware that we only have one life to live. And the difference between the youth and the person using them to commit any form of violence is just an opportunity and connection. Look, God created them, they are entitled to drive car and do any good thing to enjoy their life, not to commit any form of violence. So violence cannot pay anything to anyone because we have nothing to gain from it at the end. And for our leaders, let them know that the true test of every leader is to identify problem before it becomes an emergency. They put us in this menace. We are watching, and time is coming. The table will soon turn to us. Thank you.
Dogara Sogoni, thank you very much for your charge to the youth. We appreciate you. The youth should not succumb to violence in any way, and leaders should also live up to a responsibility. That's Dogara Sogoni's contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Yes. My name is Jude Upebe. I'm calling from Bakume, Way East.
All right, good to have you join us on Perspectives, Jude.
Thank you, Nathaniel. I salute Barrister Gbagyo.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful analysis.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate. You see, the youth, they own this nation a lot because they are our future leaders. Our leaders, our past leaders, have joined their ancestors. That is how it moves. You will be a youth today. Tomorrow you become an elder, and you start taking decisions. That is one thing I want them to know. So the future belongs to them. Now, most of the crimes perpetrated in the society today, 95% are being carried out by the youth. Some youth, let me not generalize.
Okay.
Because there are some youth that wants to do good things. They are into good endeavors to earn a living.
Yes.
But some, they want to go the other way round to achieve either their political desire or whatever, mischievously. So I am advising the youth to please take this country as theirs, because if a politician comes to you and wants to use you as a dog, you should resist. Ask that politicians to bring his child to join you do the political talks, because it is not good. And sometimes I blame the elders, because if there was an elder that said something that I heard, I wasn't happy. That he said that mbaye kabivi kwasamba gane so that they should go ahead and do what they want, because they are talking. They should go ahead and do. They are there. They will resolve the issue after calamities have been taken by the youth. So I blame some elders. Where resolution or decision have been taken, they should be binding both on the youth and the elders. They shouldn't go around and say the youth, they push the youth to the wall, go and commit crimes or land disputes. We are there. We go there and we settle the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jude. Thank you for your contribution. This is also a charge on elders in communities not to allow youth to get to a level they will have to help them. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Kindly move away from your radio. Let's engage better.
Are we okay now?
Very well. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Nathaniel and Barrister Joseph Gbagyo.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Yes. I'm proud of you for the wonderful presentations you have made over this topic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I also thank Agret Radio for always bringing up issues that are very much important to today's society.
Thank you. May we know your name before you proceed? Your name and where you're reaching us from.
Okay, my name is Peter Shakume. I'm calling you from Youth Center, Catholic Youth Center area of Makurdi.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter Shakume. Now you proceed.
Okay. All right. Yes. Barrister Gbagyo made mention of the National Youth Plan Action Plan. This plan was shared sometime in 2018 with the certain number of youths that were selected across North Central for in Jos, where we went and we deliberated on it, expecting that as we fall back to our various states, the follow-up was going to get there. And what was in this National Action Plan, the Kano and Lagos State examples were used in portraying this action plan of this National Action Plan. And what were these plans that Kano and Lagos State were doing? Kano was so much putting emphasis on industrialization, which was engaging a lot of youth. And the Lagos State was as well engaging their youth in civil and public services rather. You could notice that the National Youth Parliament, as it were, was drafted from this policy that Yaradua had introduced, and then Lagos State was exercising very much. In Lagos State, you had this feeder system of the community youths feeding into the wards, from wards to local government, and then the state eventually. So as that was going on with the parliamentary teachings, internship, it was also perpetrated in the executive circuit. So this was taking care of the youth. And what were they planning? They were planning on policies that were affecting youth. The Ikeja market, the Ikeja talked about GSM market, is totally occupied by youth. And what was the government doing? The government was giving out incentives to these people who were to work in this market, then pay back to government eventually a token that over time was recircled to give others back to others, so that this process takes off the youth from the street and they are not engaged in anything that could produce violence. And this way it will make the state more how do I put it? Make it more peaceful. That this aspect of just buying guns, forming vigilantes, doing all of this will help, but not so much as the prevention itself could have solved. Yeah. So you see the examples that I have laid as the Kano was doing the industrial. So back home in the state, yes, the then governor Otom did very well by reconstituting the state youth parliament, but along the line, the insecurity in the state couldn't allow him to achieve very much with that with the policy. So it's expected that by now the Ministry of Youth and Sports should dust that up and then take it to the state ESCO and to see to it that this is reinvigorated so that this policy will take off the youth away from the street. It is no doubt that the youth that are engaged in Gbagyo, all of those villages, they are there because they are trying to find out how they can take care of themselves in the face of hardship. So when you do this, you take a lot of them away from there, and then you'll be building the step going forward. Okay. The national, commission, the youth commission is very apt. Is very, very apt. While I was there in the State Youth Parliament, we had advocated and we pushed even a bill to the State Assembly so that the Youth Commission should come on board. And Lagos was doing this because they were drawing their revenue from the state allocation from this for the commission.
Thank you.
Which was intended churning it out to the youth. So that worked perfectly. And I think if Benue could do that, we will also be on a very good pedestal.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution, Peter. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, that's Peter Shakume.
I think that was very, very elaborate.
Yes, let's engage with some more persons. We'll come back. I know you want to react to some of the issues you raised there, but I'll come back to you shortly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Thank you for holding on the line.
Yes, Gbagyo is my name.
Yes. Godwin.
Yes, I'm speaking. I'm in Urukum, Makurdi.
Okay, Godwin, your radio is very close to you, so the hallback is very unfriendly to our communication. So kindly turn it off or move away from it. Let's talk better.
Okay, I move away from the radio.
Okay, Godwin who?
Godwin Agbo.
Okay, Godwin Agbo. You said Wurukum. Which part of Wurukum?
Well, I'm in Logowa.
Okay, thank you, Godwin Agbo. Please go ahead.
Yes, my contribution is this. We know very well that what is disturbing us in this country, the government of Nigeria is part of this problem. And before we could have peace in our own communities or in our own nations, we must have something that we call cooperation. In every given community we have to cooperate ourselves and they come as one unity in terms of understanding. And apart from that, we need to have this because the government of Nigeria said that it has no negotiation with any bandit. And then we should know very well that those people that are fighting, that are killing people, kidnapping people, are foreigners that are hired by all the pioneers of this Nigeria. Those people. And then we have to come together, sit as one community and one unity, and we have to fight the security ourselves in terms of controlling our own communities. And what we have to do, even the government that has power and authority must have to coordinate with the people of the nation. In fact, the problem we have in Nigeria, we have different nations and there is no unity. And then we have to come together and then sit as one people and then organize a security in our own environment, that we will have to take care of such menace that is happening in our own different communities. Because those people are doing these things, are those people that are hired. Because this is a kind of political coup by some different nations that we want to take over the country as their own. And we don't know them. We don't know them. But when we come together and organize as one people, then we know how to fight those people within our own various community. But there must be a support over our own government.
Okay. Thank you very much, Godwin Agbo, for your contribution.
That is it.
All right, thank you. I think Godwin's point is the strength of unity, uniting to fight the issues of insecurity be deviling our communities, that are the strongest, the bottom line of his submission. We appreciate you. Thank you, Godwin. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program. Morning to you.
I'm fine, you?
I'm fine too. Thank you for joining us. What's your name and where are you reaching us from?
I'm Isaac Say, calling from Aganto Gate.
All right, Isaac Say, good to have you on the program.
Thank you, sir. My contribution is that there is no society that will not organize for its youth that the society will be safe. If the program works for your youth, the youth will not go out destabilizing people and be doing things that are not normal. So my own contribution is that the government should put in programs that the youth will be employed. They will have something doing.
Okay, Isaac, maybe before you go, so on the part of the youth themselves, what can they do to ensure peace in our communities beyond the government?
The youth have done a lot now. They have been schooling, so somebody who graduated from school and have no job can do otherwise.
Okay, all right, Isaac. Thank you for your contribution. But being without a job should not be an excuse to do otherwise. If I
okay. And just secondly, we have no land because the herdsmen are disturbing us. There's no way one can go back to his village and farm. So a hungry man is a hungry man.
It's okay, Isaac. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate you. All right. Gbagyo.
Yes.
Earlier on, you wanted to comment on the issues raised by Peter Shakumen, the same issue of National Youth Action Plan and what other states had envisaged to do.
Yes.
But before you comment on that, I beg your pardon that I will engage with a few more persons and I'll come back to you.
Oh, yes.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Okay. I'm just calling from Georgia Community. Those who are fair.
Thank you.
Calling from Georgia Community.
All right. Thank you, those who are fair, for joining us on the program.
You're welcome. Sir, when you speak about youth participation in peace development, have to look at what you have to take it back to what parental responsibility, because if who he is today because of what the lack of parental responsibility. So we as parents, we have what the responsibility of what training up our children in such a way that what they bring peace to our surroundings, they bring peace to our environment. And then secondly, we look at what patriotism on the side of the youth. It is high time that we youth we embrace our country, we embrace our state, we embrace our local governments as what our pride. We wear it all around as pride. Each development is what our development. Each downfall is what our downfall. So we as youth, we should what our country. That something wrong today. It's going to affect me. It's going to affect my generation, because what we will certainly continue to give birth and what bring forth more children into the world. So if today we are looking at it at the side just for okay, let's collect money, eat, and do whatever, at the end of the day, it's not going to affect us, because maybe at the end of the day, I have to leave the country. It's not going to work like that. We have to accept the fact that okay, Nigeria is my country, Benue is my state, that local government is where I hail from. So the aspect of politicians also using them, they have what the ability to say no to them, because of what they have the responsibility of what carrying out or bringing out the progress or the good of every land. Thank you.
Thank you very much, those who are fair, for your charge to the youth. I believe you are a youth yourself, so this applies to.
Yes, I mean, and it's very painful when you hear that okay, some of the crises that are going on are being carried out by youth, in which politicians use. It's not in which politicians use. It's not fair. I'm also a youth, and it's not good.
Thank you, Dosu. I didn't know you were a youth, but your voice actually betrayed you, so that is how I was able to guess. Thank you so much for your thoughts. We appreciate you, Dosu.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a great day. All right, Vice Gbagyo.
Yes.
Your comments on the earlier remarks by Peter Shakume before we engage with more persons. He pointed out some of the action plans certain states had wanted to pursue with regards to youth empowerment and how Benue can also key in that direction.
Okay, so let me start with the last caller. I really want to commend her for the way she spoke. You could see a deep sense of patriotism residing in her, a deep sense of commitment to nation building residing in her, and you could see the passion for way out of the current quagmire we're experiencing in the country, speaking through her. And I think that is what every youth should emulate. Emulate. It's not about saying I want to leave the country and all. If you leave the country, you certainly come back. And I've been telling people about this. So, but maybe they will talk about the Japa syndrome another day. So talking about the comment of
Peter
Shakume,
yes,
who has given us a vivid account of, a vivid breakdown of what the National Youth Action Plan is. And I think that is just the way to go as a government if we must get it right for our youth. Rather than think only in the aspect of forming vigilante group or security or life or property alone, we should also talk about genuine empowerment, which is what I've been hammering on. And when we went to Kaduna, when we went to Plateau on the learning visit as to why the Peace Commission in Plateau was working, we discovered that the Plateau state government also enacted or passed into law the Plateau State Small and Medium Scale Development Agency Bill, law. And that law was placed side by side with the Peace Commission, the Plateau State Peacebuilding Agency, to the effect that, look, as we are talking peace, let's not neglect the aspect of economic empowerment. Let's not neglect the aspect of agricultural development for our youth. Let's not neglect the aspect of sustaining or help the youth to sustain industrial development, or perhaps helping them to expand the scope of their career in terms of public service, or in terms of helping them to nurture that innovation, that technology innovation that is incubating in them, And imagine if all of this is done, imagine how the state would be. Now, I have been proposing this times without number, that can't we have an effective youth development agency? An agency that will be private organization driven, that will help the government to mobilize resources to help the youth drive their innovation. We can do that as a state. And if we talk about empowerment, we shouldn't just be saying empowerment should not be giving somebody a sewing machine when he doesn't have the skills to sew. He will definitely sell it. Or giving somebody a hair dryer when the person is not yet equipped with the skill of hair making and all of that. So it's about being genuine. It's about being honest with whatever program we are doing. So if we talk of involving youth in public service, because I've seen a lot of youth being involved in the government of His Excellency Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia. And the question I also want to ask, are those youths too, are they already seeing themselves as stakeholders who are already demigods? Or are they seeing themselves as a bridge for others to pass? Or perhaps are they seeing themselves as personalities that will mentor those behind them? Or if you are a youth, you are a special assistant to the governor on youth mobilization, or in what manner are you mobilizing the youth? or you are just mobilizing them to achieve political thuggery or to strengthen political thuggery and all of that? These are the questions that once they are answered, then we'll be talking about durable peace. But Mr. Matt, we cannot talk about durable peace in the society without incorporating the aspect of effective economic empowerment of the youth. Once we don't do that, we will only be treating the symptoms. And remember, the president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Adeshino Akinwumi,
yes,
stated a few days ago that we have come to that point where the new oil and gas regime is the agriculture. And until we begin to practice agriculture, not as a way of life, but from a business perspective, that's when we can achieve food security. And somebody spoke about insecurity. So in all of this, there should be willpower on the part of the government, because if we must overcome this challenge of youth, if we must effectively integrate the youth into peace building, then we must also understand that whatever we are doing, we will be committed to it, we'll be passionate to it as a state, doing it with all sense of honesty. That's the only way we can overcome it.
Okay.
And if we talk about agriculture now.
Yes, I beg your pardon.
Okay.
Just hold your thoughts. I'll be back to you shortly on that point of agriculture. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nathaniel.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on Perspective.
I want to appreciate the barrister and the student has spoken so well.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
But I want to appreciate these people. You are seeing Daniel Tena from Nigerian Makurdi.
Thank you, Daniel Tena, for joining us.
You see, talking about Peacebuilding among the youth, I want to appeal to the youth that even though you graduated, you have a master, you don't have work, if you want to help your community, you need to come down. You need to once in a while, you need to call to your youth, advise them that we need to come together and bring peace. Because sometimes, Nathaniel, let me tell you the truth, sometimes even we the youth too, sometimes we are the one that sometimes we don't want peace. Because like if you, for example, like this kind of headman crisis, sometimes it's we the youth that will go and meet this headman that will lead them. That this is where you can come.
Daniel, I think that is too strong an allegation, too categorical. You don't have facts to that. So this is an allegation, and I think it's too strong to make on a platform like this, given that you have no facts about it. Or do you?
No, I don't have facts, but that's what did you say. But I have to do the work.
So if you don't have facts on that, I think you should retract the words.
Okay, no problem. I'll reverse it back.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, but what I want to say is that we the youth, we need to be know about the citizens, because sometimes these people will use us, this politician will use us, they will dump us. So some of them from there, they will take it from there. So I want to tell them that if anybody wanted to use you, tell the person to go and use his children.
All right.
That, I think, the person will come to you next. And lastly, these our area chiefs, they need to once in a while, they need to call youth meeting, to advise them that no matter how come, you people should remain calm, you people should don't fight, anything that comes, you people should need to take to the law. Let law come into it, because I know everything has to do with law. With that, I know we can contribute in building our area.
Thank you.
We can contribute to say no.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for your contribution. Thank you. Sorry, Barrister Gbagyo.
Yes.
Before we took that call, you were stressing a point on effective economic empowerment for the youth using agriculture, for instance. Yes. So conclude on
yes.
that.
So I think the government of the day can develop a roadmap towards that, and I want to believe they are working on that. But what I'm trying to say is that let us inculcate in our people, in our youth, that look, agriculture is not just a way of life; it's a business, and a lot of people are cashing out of that hugely. And the only thing is that the assurance that yes, on our part as government, we're putting in place strategies, policies towards achieving that. So I think talking about youth empowerment, youth and peace building,
yes,
we cannot overemphasize the fact that without effective empowerment approach or policies or strategies, we can talk morning till night, because you don't expect somebody waking up and sleeping on an empty stomach not to be angry.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's engage with some more calls we have coming in. But before those calls, let's take a few messages, then we'll come back. We have messages here too. This one says, youth participation in peace building is an insight of having the warring factions that has been in a clash due to one reason or the other, thereby bringing lasting solutions to have the negotiators to bear and hug each other. May someone consider me in this entanglement as the government buckle down the employment agency. Good morning, panelists. Isaac Utsua from EA in Goma local government. Okay, thank you, Isaac, for your message. We appreciate you. I'll come back to the messages shortly. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning to you.
Emeka from North Bank, Nathaniel. Thank you very much for this discussion.
You're welcome.
And I thank the guests in the studio who have been doing justice to what is happening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You see, we, the youth of today, supposed to have learned a lot. Because if my community is being destroyed because of my attitude, people will not come there to do development. People will not have any business there. They will not do businesses and other things. The other time we were talking about matching grant, and we thank God that matching grant is almost gone. I believe that if the youth will agree and say there will be no violence within my environment, there will be no violence. If the youth can say in my community there must be relative peace for people to come and do businesses, it will happen. But the only thing is that among 100 you must have some Judas inside, and that is why we say those Judas should be traced out and show the way out. And you see this agriculture you are talking about, if the government or the community leaders can rise up and say this piece of land we are having, all these our youths, we want them to do agriculture on those lands. You do this community agriculture, I believe that youths will participate. And if government can give input to support, I think the youths will do something. But the only thing is that there are some youths who wants to make money quick, and they will foment trouble so that people will get away and they will make money. All those things are not good, because as a man, as a woman, if you destroy your community where you come from, who will stay there to help that community? It will make that community to look like even the houses that people have built for rentage, nobody will come there to rent them. Those businesses that people used to do there, nobody will do it. So I am of the opinion that youth, even if you are not having engaged on this government jobs, you should go into other jobs. For example, if you look at some of these our brothers who go about doing this amalanke job, pushing wheelbarrows, and you look at those ones who collect cartons. If you look at during festivities, they are the people who wear better clothes even than those people who are working in big areas. Now, when you look at it, you see people going around, cleaning some gutters around. They are making money out of those things. So I am of the opinion, instead of you waiting until when government will engage you, until when government gives you money, palliatives, which will not even reach you. You see, sometimes government will bring palliatives that give to these people that their houses have been destroyed. At the end of the day, some people will take it away, and these people will not get it. You see, the youth will start revolting. So I am of the opinion that instead of us going to those areas, the government should give lands for these youths to farm. And some youths also should try also to do other jobs that will end them living instead of fomenting trouble. And forget about that. You cannot make money one day. You cannot make money one day. You will make it gradually. Thank you very much. God bless I Get Radio for bringing up all these things. It is for us and our youth within our communities to avoid trouble so that we will not become refugees in our own areas. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you very much, Mr. Emeka Nyobu. We appreciate your contribution. Let's take some messages more. I'll come back to some calls a while ago. Good morning, Nath. Now I know Benue got talent, well-intentioned. Our problem is how to harness it. I call for the formation of concerned people's forum where these talents can meaningfully engage. Thanks. Corner to do it behind NNPC Mega Station, Makurdi Road. Okay, thank you, Corner, for your message. Another one here says, this is from our WhatsApp box. This one says, the youth play a vital role in the peace building by promoting tolerance, understanding, and dialogue. They can challenge stereotypes, advocate inclusivity, and engage in conflict resolution activities through education, empowerment, and active participation. Young people contribute to creating harmonious, resilient communities that prioritize cooperation and mutual respect. Jacobs J from Makurdi. Okay, Jacobs, thank you very much for your message. Unfortunately, you didn't give us your full name and which location in Makurdi you are sending the message, but all the same, we appreciate you for your message, Jacob. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nathaniel.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, this is Engineer Abraham Tengu from Alede.
Abraham Tengu from Alede, thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yeah.
Alede is in Way East
local government. A wonderful program.
Thank you very much.
And it's very good because, you know, the way we young men are seeing that we cannot suffer before getting anything. It's not right. Everybody supposed to know that you suffer before you come to be anything. Like the last caller was saying something. No, you cannot make money in a day. We stop about being unless we get something in a day or we get something by force. You cannot benefit that one. So far to get something, you value it. So I'm begging to our young ones to know that you have to suffer and get something and you value it. Because you know that you suffer to get it. So you value it more. So I thank you for the program. We should take note that violence cannot even help us anything, cannot take us anywhere. Rather, it brings us back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abraham Tengo, for your contribution. We appreciate you. All right. That's Abraham giving a charge to youth to aspire and strive, no matter the challenges to overcome.
Another minimum contribution the government can be talking about. Reading culture. And suddenly I realized that I normally call. And for example, I spoke for about 3 minutes. 150 naira. If I had sent a check, small libraries, when these young people can have nothing to do, at least they have a place to go and sit down and read something. That tomorrow something will become useful to them. Then you have sports. How many people do we have in our various local governments, in our council wards, that will keep them busy? Everybody's buying limousines.
Thank you, Adam Baukan. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate you. Those are strategies. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, God bless you. I'm Harry Desmond from calling from North Bank.
Harry Desmond, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir. My greeting goes to the guests in the house.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Harry. Hello, Harry.
Yes.
Is your name an Oyibo name?
I'm a Nigerian, but I'm Oyibo name. Harry Desmond from North Bank.
Okay, Harry, please go ahead.
I want to start this by saying that peace building, the role of youth in peace building. One, these youth, they are not spirit, they are human beings, and they come from a family. But you see that today, many parents are not doing their work as parents. Some of the parents are even teaching their children wrong behavior. A father that joined, that is an occultic man, what do you expect of your children? Your son also joined court. And it is from the family that will produce these people in the community. So if there is no peace in the family, how can we have peace in our environment, in our society? So that means parents need to wake up to their responsibility to train their children. Not only sending them to best school in the world or in the town, thinking that will make a child to be a good child. No, a child can even go to school and be corrupted in the school. But if the children are having well trainer, the fear of God is being imparted into them right from the family background. Then anywhere they go in the town or in the world, they still have the fear of God. All this trouble we're having being used to cause, it will not be there. Then I want to also mention our spiritual leaders. You go to all this place of worship, youth are everywhere, filled up everywhere. Our spiritual leaders need to also wake up. Let them tell this youth the truth, that life have no duplicate. Once you die, and they can't see you again. Let our leaders tell them the truth, not telling them about prosperity and all this and that. And then this youth, from church, they will go and commit this crime. They will still bring tithe and offering to the church, and the pastor know that these youth are not living well in the society. Then they are welcoming all these tithe and offering in their churches. They're giving the youth more encouragement to go and commit more crime. Let our spiritual leaders wake up and play their role. They are also talking about our traditional rulers. If the constitution of this country is very strong, then all these things will stop, because people who are using the youth to sponsor this trouble, we know them. Even the government know them. But what is our constitution? What role does our constitution play? Did they arrest these people? They will not arrest them. And even after sponsoring you to commit crime, to kill people and do and so on, these leaders, these people still patrol up and down. The youth saved. They feel happy because they have somebody who back them up. Even if they arrested them and locked them in the police station, before a call will come from above, say, release this person, and the person will be released. And tomorrow the same person will still go and commit more crimes again, because he has somebody from above who is backing him or her. Let our constitution be amended.
Okay.
And that will help us, Lord.
Thank you, Harry Desmond. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's take a few comments from our live stream feed on Facebook, then we'll come back to you, our guest in the studio. Jerry Uhangi says, the role of youth in peace building in communities cannot be overemphasized and underrated. They are energetic and life wire of every given society. In this case, it is important for communities to identify areas of need and choose areas to engage the youth so that there can be checks and balances as well as accountability in order to checkmate their excessive operations in trying to build peace. Overall, the youth are an important organ and should be carried along by properly educating them so they are able to make the right decisions in their respective communities. Thank you very much, Jerry Uhangi, for your message. Teacher Imai says, I feel happy to join this program live. I'm listening live from Naka, Gwe West, local government, Benue State. Thank you very much, Teacher Imai, for joining us live from Naka. We appreciate your following us and listenership of the program via the live stream link as well. Let's take one more call, then we'll come back to gradually conclude. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you. My name is Bishop Steven. I'm calling from
Bishop Philip?
Steven.
Okay, Bishop Steven. Thank you, Bishop Steven Nongu in Gwe East Local Government. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I want the role of peace the role of youth in peace building is for them to play a vital role by obeying to the rules and regulations. And when I say that, the youth also need to be empowered, most especially youth from rural areas. This is my second time of saying something concerning this on this program. The youth in rural areas are not empowered. So they are having this problem. And once they are not empowered, they enroll themselves in these bad things. So that is the reason. So I want the government to empower the youth, most especially in rural areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop Stephen, for your contribution.
Yeah.
Thank you. Government should empower youth in rural communities. That is a submission from Bishop Stephen. We appreciate you for your thoughts. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, Mr. Confidence talking to you.
Confidence who?
Yes, from Anja village in Igbo.
Okay, Confidence who?
Anja, Confidence Anja.
Okay, okay, Confidence Anja in Igbo. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I like your conversation.
Thank you, Confidence.
Yes, you know the rule of youth playing in our localities is very, very common. One thing is empower them, give them submission, let them have something doing, let them stand up. If you eventually invest in agriculture, you have a lot to make. So it's obvious that you should have something doing permanently. Yes. So on the issue of saying government should come and support them, the only thing the government should help is let them give them support, the little support. And let them stand up with all the belonging, let them with their strength, instead of saying marching ground of a thing. It's not good.
Okay.
Let's stand up. Let the youth stand up. By destroying, if you come to even my villages, you have a lot of destruction. Every now and then, youth complaining of doing a lot of things that is not even value to them. So I like the way you speak.
Thank you, Confidence.
I like the way you bring all these programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are encouraged. Thank you for your kind words about Aged Radio. Thank you. All right. That would be our last call on the program, Barrister Gbagyo. Listening to the reactions of mostly youths and even from rural communities, one thing that has resounded, which align with your thoughts here, is the line of empowerment.
Yes.
But beyond the empowerment of government, what can the youths on their own in rural communities also do?
Okay, so maybe before we close on the program,
yes,
all the callers are speaking to one issue, that youth in our society, youth in our communities, youth in our country, youth in Africa, and youth of the world are catalysts to change. And that is why the 2024 team for the 2024 International Youth Day team is transforming food system, youth innovation for human and planetary health. So that is to tell us that we cannot practice agriculture without the involvement of the youth. We cannot have food security if the youth are standing on the sideline. We cannot have a sustainable health system without involving the youth. We cannot have a society that will be technology inclined without the involvement of the youth. The youth still remains the catalyst, but ignorance, they say, is never an excuse in law. That I don't know is never an excuse. But if a youth is committed to what he wants to achieve, if he is patriotic to his nation, if he is patriotic and he has the love of his community at heart, he will not take to crime. So the option of taking to crime as a youth at the community level, because there is no form of empowerment, is totally out of place. But in all of this, to transform the world, to make the youth better instrument that will further strengthen them as that instrument of change or bringing about change in the society, the government must also be honest in terms of putting in place policies, in terms of putting in place legislation, in terms of putting in place strategies that will help the youth to remain in that status quo of being a catalyst for society transformation, catalyst for community transformation, catalyst for food security, sufficiency, and all of that.
Okay, finally, a word for the traditional rulers as well as faith-based organizations. What role can they animate the youth for peace building in the community?
Yes, for the traditional rulers, just like a confidence or somebody, the last caller or second to the last caller said, beyond droning out messages of prosperity on the pulpits, we should be bold enough, our religious leaders should be bold enough to speak to the youth with all form of honesty that there is dignity in labor. And if you remember the second letter of St. Paul to the people of Thessalonica, he said, we gave you a rule when we were with you, not to let anyone have any food if he refuses to do any work. Because we heard that there are some of you who are living in idleness, doing no work for themselves, but interfering with everyone else's. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we order and call on people of this kind to go on quietly, working and earning the food that they will eat. Brothers and sisters, never grow tired of doing what is right. This is the message our religious leaders should preach to the youth. For our traditional rulers, yes.
That line actually sounded like Pastor Gbagyo preaching already. That's right.
Yes. So for the traditional rulers, they are the father figures of the society. And if you look at the traditional law, the chieftaincy law of Benue State 2006, let's give it a role to the traditional rulers to promote integration. Integration. So it is it's a duty call on them. Not to be prejudiced, not to be impartial. Not to be partial in their adjudication processes. Not to sell out the communities that will throw up the youth in anger, but to drive the community, to integrate the community, to unite the community through an effective youth inclusiveness. That's their role. And above all, leadership, they say, is by example. If you look at chapter 25, section 25 of the chieftaincy law of Benue State 2016, there are 18 code of conduct for traditional rulers. Let them abide by those code of conduct and lead by examples. Beyond the traditional rulership of accepting goats and cartons of drinks as against savoring justice in the community.
This is where we must have to conclude on today's edition of Perspectives, which we discuss the role of youths in peace building in communities. We appreciate very deeply our sole lead discussant on the program, a civil society personality and secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association Makurdi Branch, Barrister Joseph Gbagyo, who joined us on Perspectives. Thank you so much for your insights.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you deeply for coming on Perspectives. We appreciate your listenership, dear listener. We couldn't take all the calls and messages because the time did not permit us to do so. We hope you will be here with us. Do join us again on Wednesday for another edition of Perspectives. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great week. Goodbye. Kindly stay tuned to Agate Radio.